Hello, I'm Joseph Torbati and I'm the owner of OC Detailing in Fremont, California. And behind us, I have a world's first. We have a Cybertruck that we wrapped in Stek USA Dynochrome-Black matte 10-year paint protection film that has this really cool color built into it. So these Cybertrucks are going to come with stainless steel bodies, and I know a lot of people are going to want to change the colors of them, and there's going to be a couple of ways to do that. You're going to be able to do that with a vinyl wrap, which is a color change that has lots and lots of options out there, but it's literally just a color change film, and usually the lifespan on that film with the best care is about 3 years. Most of the time we're seeing about 1.5 to 2 years, and you're going to want to think about replacing it. The other option you have is what Stek, somebody who was a huge innovator of, came out with, which are these colored PPFs. So this one particularly behind me was revolutionary. Like, nobody's ever made a chrome PPF before until Stek did it. Some of the differences between PPF and vinyl are going to be the thickness. So vinyl's traditionally 2 to 4 mils thick, and again, it's just a color change, where paint protection film is actually a urethane material that's made to protect from impacts, and it's usually 8 to 10 mils thick. So you're getting a much thicker film on the surface, and that's actually going to do a lot better job of protecting paint. Now, on the Cybertruck, I don't think we're too much worried about protecting the stainless steel, because apparently you can shoot it with arrows, a machine gun, or hit it with a sledgehammer with no issues. So the benefit of doing paint protection film versus vinyl on a Cybertruck is going to be that it just looks so much better. If you're looking at glossy vinyls, I guess because of the thinness of the material or the way the pigment's laid, they have a lot of orange peel texture to them. They look good from a distance, but usually if you're looking at a reflection down the side, it's very obvious to me that a car's vinyl wrapped, where with the paint protection films from Stek, they look like paint. They give you a very smooth, flat finish that would rival some of the best paint jobs that money could buy. And for the Cybertruck, you're gonna end up with your Cybertruck looking way better for a lot longer. And also the maintenance is gonna be a lot less. Vinyls traditionally don't have self-healing into them. So if you scratch vinyl, it gets scratched and that's it. The only way to fix that is to replace the panel. Where with the Stek colored films, they actually still have the same self-healing top coat that paint protection film is known for. So you've probably seen the test where they scratch it with a wire brush, or they put it in a gravelometer and it just gets beat up, and then you see the marks and they go away with heat. So that's gonna give you a lot less maintenance on keeping this thing scratch free. Wow, that's slick. And that's thanks to Stek's top coat infused coating that comes on their film that makes it super easy to wash and actually stops dirt and stuff from sticking in, because those scratches I was talking about, they come from little particles of dirt stuck to the paint, film, or whatever, and getting dragged across there, causing these very fine hairline scratches. Where this film, because it is hydrophobic top coat, there's less of a chance for that to stick, and you can't find that on any vinyl available on the market today. Something else that's pretty obvious about a Cybertruck is there is a lot of glass on this car. I believe probably the biggest windshield ever put on a vehicle. I thought a Model X used to hold that crown, and then maybe a Lucid, but no, I think this one takes the cake. It is absolutely massive. And I'm sure that when you're driving around with the sun on this, you would feel a lot of heat radiating from the glass. So we use Stek's top-of-the-line NEX graphene-infused window tint that has a super high heat rejection, along with 99.9% UVA, UVB blockage, to tint this whole thing to keep the customer really cool while they're driving around. And it also looks really cool too, so it gave the Cybertruck a little bit more of an aggressive look. We did the massive front windshield in one piece, along with doing all the side windows and the sunroof. Now, the back windows on this car come with what you would see on most SUVs. It's like traditional privacy glass, and that does look like tinted glass because it is. It's manufactured shaded tinted glass from the factory, but it offers very little in the way of heat rejection. Anybody who's sat on the other side of one of those windows with the sun on it knows you still feel the heat come through. So the Stek NEX film we put on this will actually completely cut that out and make you feel way more comfortable inside the car, along with stopping the heat coming from that massive windshield. This customer is gonna feel super cool when he's driving, for more reasons than one. So I'm gonna walk you through some of the stuff we did to this truck, and so I'll be totally honest, it was the first one we did. So there were a lot of things we had to figure out that actually were super complicated. So everybody said that looking at this truck, it's gonna be a very easy install because the panels are big and flat, there's very little stretch. Also, we're working with a film that's not readily available to the public yet, but we had a lot of trouble getting edges to stick down on this. We are known for wrapping and tucking things in and making sure everything's seamless, and we spent more time heating up and locking down edges on this than we did actually doing the install. So I want to show you some of the results. So I'm just gonna start right here at this fender. So these are very sharp corners. And getting film to stay right here was actually really difficult. Again, and I mean it with all seriousness, is that the time it took us to put the film here versus the time it took us to get it to stay down on this edge, getting it to stay down on the edges was actually a lot more. And you can see the results though. So even the edge of this are showing the DYNOchrome-Black matte. So it doesn't show the stainless there. Although if I was gonna leave an edge exposed on this color, it'd be pretty forgiving. Same thing with the hood, you know, right here, this is the first thing we did. So after we wrapped it, we didn't really know what to expect, but we did discover that the surface tension of stainless steel is a lot less than paint, so the film doesn't like to stick very much. So we clayed the film, we actually ended up claying the metal, and what happened was we were getting a lot of ferrous metal fallout. So I think somewhere during the manufacturing process of this, they're probably getting a lot of sparks that fly, or when they're cutting it maybe, because there was tons of little particles of metal on this. Once we scrubbed this really hard with a clay bar, and then we did a solvent wipe down on it, it was much easier to stick the film to, but it still wasn't great. It wasn't as good as paint. So getting film to stick and stay down on this was more challenging than we anticipated, but we're built for this, so we got it figured out. It just took a little trial and error, and I'm sure we'll get better with more of them like we do with all practice. So if you check out this edge here, this is actually rolled all the way over and wrapped. There's a really, really small amount of room to wrap this over right here, which would actually be trying even on paint to have that small of an edge to wrap onto. But doing it on this metal that, again, doesn't have the greatest surface tension for film to stick to it, took us quite a bit of time. And even after we locked this down and spent a lot of time heating this up, we came back the next day and it lifted again. And we ended up having to go back and heat it up again. But you can see the results. It makes all the difference in the world that we were willing to spend the time doing that, because this thing looks incredible. It's so cool. It retained all its Cybertruckness, because it still looks like a Cybertruck. It still looks like a big metal truck, but it looks different. It's got the black chrome on there that makes this thing really pop out. Along with everything else we did on this, like with the window tint, and then, which, I don't know if you guys saw the video, it took 3 of us to get this film in here. And Justice was stuck hunched over the dash trying to get the film down into the bottom, and it was pretty difficult to do too. Again, it's a first time for it, and we'll get better with practice. But still, it was a lot of fun, a lot of experimenting in it, but the results speak for itself, because we're still known for doing incredible work. So we weren't willing to sacrifice just because this is our learning curve. So everything is up to OCD standards on this, along with spending a bunch of time figuring out the edges and wrapping everything else. We had to work with stuff like this, where you have this super tiny gap. You have to wrap the film in here, and also, this is a little wobbly here, and very sharp corner, but we still spent all the time to make sure we got this down. And then there's these black plastic pieces on top. We wrapped those as well, because this is gonna be something that scratches super easy with a car wash, so we didn't want this to get damaged, so we wrapped that. We're gonna do these in crushed forged carbon. We just didn't get the film in time, so the fender flares and the mirrors are gonna be Stek crushed forged carbon, which is gonna give a nice little pop and an accent to this. Well, just for some added dirt repellency and added hydrophobics, we actually ceramic coated everything too with Seacort's Finest Reserve. We did all the plastic, we did this, we did the tonneau cover, because this is gonna be something that people probably neglect. It's gonna be a piece that doesn't get washed that often, it's out in the sun a lot, and if I know anything about this stuff from what I've seen on other things, it's really subject to fade. So we coated this stuff with Seacort's, we coated the tonneau cover with Seacort's, and what that's gonna do is make it a lot easier to wash and also make it retain its color over time, so that your Cybertruck that now is gonna look like this for 10 years doesn't look bad when this looks all gray and old. So this stuff's gonna be really well protected and stay clean for years to come. And then all the glass too. You can see I got a little bit of water up there when I was doing my demo earlier, but we coated all the glass with Seacort's G-Force. It's their newest glass coating that makes everything crazy hydrophobic, and it's gonna make it repel water and super easy to clean. Again, any help I could have cleaning the middle of this big truck, I would take it, because it makes life a little bit easier for you. The final touch we did on this, which I'm gonna have to revise when he comes back for the fender flares getting wrapped in crushed carbon, is this. I actually scanned and printed the Foundation Series logo. I tried a couple renditions on this to get it to look as factory as possible, and this was done with a matte clear laminate. I'm still gonna play with this a little bit and see if I can find something that looks a little bit better than this, but for now, this will get it done. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe with OC Detailing. Yay! We did it!